Well, how many of these players are overpriced and who are the bargains? Somebody's been studying all of this, a research team at La Trobe Uni, sports economists. They've crunched the numbers. One of them is Dr. Liam Lenten, who joins us now. Liam, good morning. Michael Clark at his asking price of $1 million. A bargain, or tell him he's dreaming?
Morning, Barry. Michael Clark's a very interesting case. Very much a fair valuation along the lines of what we predicted that Peterson would go for. Now, of course, ex post, we know that Peterson went for more than $1.5 million. So there's a lot of things about Clark that seem to be very, very similar. He's kind of got the good looks, the aura, like Peterson does. So with that in mind, even though I'm kind of surprised what Peterson went for, chances are Clark would have exceeded the $1 million reserve.
So you're saying that he, on your valuation, $705,000, but how do you arrive at that figure? What's your criteria?
Well, of course, this is all based on a number of variables, some personal characteristics, others playing characteristics, and other career statistics as well. So we're dealing with a very large number of variables. My co-authors Laszlo Conyer and Wayne Geerling and I considered around about 60 variables, and we finished with about 6 different models, and in each case we ended up with different fair valuations. So the figures that you have in front of you, Barry, are really just more or less an average of the regression models that we had. But in summary, it was a lot of different variables that were chucked into a mix, kind of like a stir fry.
Okay, well, I didn't agree with you in India. Andrew Flintoff and Kevin Peterson went for just over $1.5 million. But what was your assessment of Kevin Peterson, that he's half the man he thinks he is?
Not really, no. We were using results from the auction last year where you had a truckload of players that were being auctioned, and each of the teams had a price limit of $5 million US. Now, of course, this particular auction that was held on Friday was not equivalent. It was much smaller in scope. The teams really only needed it to bolster their squad or top up their squad, and of course they had a much lower price limit of $2 million. So when you consider the similarities and differences between last year and this year, I don't think it's really a surprise that there was a lot more overbidding at the top than last year. However, one other thing, Barry, I think that if Peterson and Flintoff were involved in the 2008 auction and the ECB had have let them participate, that they would have gone for considerably less than what we saw them go for on Friday.
And what we're looking at there, Gerard, was Peterson going from, 83 to 97 in a test match?
I think it's important that we showed that, because Kevin Peterson's worth from the IPL's $1.5 million, and in this study, he's not worth 50 quid at the moment. He batted for himself in that match. He gave his wicket away at the end of the day, and the flow-on effect is England got bowled out for 51 in their second innings and lost to the West Indies by an innings and 23 runs. And you can trace the fortunes of that match back to that very moment. So
okay.
I like this study from the point of view as if you were going to grade professional wrestlers, you would do it on their finishing moves, their ability to deliver a line, and it seems to, and their lycra, what colour they wear. It seems to me that in IPL that's what it is. It's the hair, it's the style, it's your dialogue, and it's your ability to hit the ball over the grandstand 6 times in a row.
And that's Michael Clark's problem, surely. Just go back to Dr. Lenten for a second, and if you could now, even though the auction is over, give us a sense of the bargains perhaps that have been missed.
Oh, well, there are several other Australian players that did not meet reserve. We calculated a fair value for George Bailey, and I just it took a long time to calculate these things, so I just happened to select him as one of I could have gone for Moss instead, for example, or Smith. So some of those players, I think, had they gone for 50,000, they would have been considered just as good a bargains according to the fair valuations, which, Bailey, we valued at around about 150,000, just as much as Bailey himself. So guys like, as I said, Moss and Smith could have also been really good buys for those teams.
Dr. Liam Lenten, thank you for that. Very interesting.
Thanks for having me, Barry.
Fascinating exercise. Gideon.
Well, I was going to say that I think the biggest news out of the IPL is not necessarily the players who will be playing, but the players who won't. And that's the Pakistan players who've been banned from playing by the Indian government, have had their contracts torn up as a result, including Sohail Tanvir, who was Warnie's trump card playing for the Rajasthan Royals last year. The continuing deterioration of diplomatic relations between India and Pakistan has huge ramifications for international cricket, and looks like they're only going to get worse.